When I watched that video, I saw a breach of the force continuum of lethal force, and my concern is for students. I'm involved in this community with a lot of children, and they make errors in judgment. They do not necessarily follow protocol. And in this case, I don't think the police officer did either. But what I'm concerned about is if this breach would continue again, and some of the students that I taught have already graduated and they're here, and some of them that I currently teach are in this room. And I'm just concerned for their safety, because had they not stopped, and so my concern is the community and the school system educating students on how they should behave if they're pulled over or lights come on behind them, what they're supposed to do to respond properly to the police force. And that's my concern to you.
We'd like to stand here and talk about the children and the children's lives and the risk that they could be in jeopardy if this woman is back on the streets. I have 3 daughters, and I tell them, don't come to Hummelstown. Don't drive through Hummelstown. I'm afraid for them. I'm afraid if they do something and they don't comply and they get shot, I wouldn't know how to live. I couldn't go on if something happened to my children. I have 3 daughters, and I don't want them in Hummelstown as long as she is a police officer. I know Chuck Dell. I went to school with him. He's a fine man, but somehow there has been a lapse in judgment, and she's been allowed to run a little rough over this town for a while. There have been complaints, and if she's allowed to come back, I think there will be more tragedy, and I would really hate to see it be a child. Thank you.
The girls at school here live less than 2 blocks from here. Most of you guys and girls know me.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you your address, please.
239 Lincoln Street, less than 2 blocks from here. I love this town, and I compliment everybody. I grew up with the mayor and all these people. I love them all in this community. And when I was in the service, I talked so proudly of the small hometown. We live in hometown America, Hummelstown, Pennsylvania. We got the best borough crew in in Dauphin County. We have a community that offers its citizens so much. And I love this community. What has happened, I'm not going there, it's a travesty of justice. You're giving the police force a license to murder. We can't do anything about that now. Putting this woman, and I have nothing personal against her, never had any run-ins with her, you can't put her back on the force. We're a laughing stock of this, not only the county, but I hear so much. We're a laughing stock. Show your hand. It's ridiculous. Don't put her back on the police force. And what I say, I love Hummelstown. I ain't going nowhere. I'll die in this town. But please, don't put her back on the force. Thank you.
I live at 169 South Railroad Street, right there. We have a great police force. We have a great town. This woman, I feel, has destroyed a lot of Hummelstown. She has made a break here. She's done something that, I mean, I grew up here. There's never been anything like this here before. And I think if we need to heal, she can't be involved in it. Because I don't think that this division is going to ever end itself.
They're out, they have a very tough duty to protect and to serve. And I did watch the video, and I found it hard to believe that that was necessary. And for me, that as someone who believes life should be protected at all costs and believes in peace, that's hard. And I guess one thing I would say is, even beyond all this, because I'm new to the town, I don't have a whole lot of ability to speak to the history or the past or even the present that much. But one thing I will say is a lot of police forces are considering training their officers in de-escalation tactics. And I would ask that you guys consider that as a clergy member, as someone with 3 kids in this town who one day will be teenagers and may make mistakes like many of us did when we were teenagers. I would hate to see them not show their hands. I would hate to see a situation escalate like we saw in Carolina, where a student is thrown across the schoolroom. It seems like these are happening more and more each day, and I think it's because we're not really de-escalating situations. The way we police is actually escalating the situation.
I'm Giles, and I live at 40 East Main Street in Hummelstown. I'd just like to say that I knew David Kassick, and I know Lisa Mearkle. And I know that one of them was harmless, and I know that the other one of them is heartless. I don't believe that she respects the citizens of this town, and I don't believe that she has the compassion to be a police officer. And I'd also just like to point out, I know a lot of people have had issues in the past with Officer Mearkle, but this is not a witch hunt, and this is not, we don't like her, you know, we want her to leave. This is legitimate fear. We are afraid. We're afraid for our children. We're afraid for our lives. And I know that I don't want to walk down the street and have to deal with her and have to answer to her. You know, I'm not going to fight back or anything like that, but what are my choices? My choices are to listen to whatever she tells me to do or to run from her. And I've never, the incidents where I've had with her in the past, anytime I was walking down the street and she was there, I'd have to answer. I'd have to show her what's in my pockets. I'd have to, you know, 20 minutes of questioning. And it's just, I think we're just tired of that, and we're actually fearful.